staggering. As of Sunday, 565 unaccompanied children reportedly crossing the border, an average per day, up from 313 per day last month. 4,200 children, we're told, now in custody, 2,943 of them held beyond the 72-hour limit placed on the Border Patrol. Homeland Security says the U.S. could soon reach the highest number of people apprehended at the border in more than 20 years. Immigration lawyers say migrants are sending their children over the border alone illegally, so they won't be sent back. Democrats are blaming former President Trump for the overwhelming surge at the border. He and his successor, President Joe Biden, are speaking out tonight, though the Biden administration still refuses to call what's happening a crisis.
People are coming in by the hundreds of thousands. Young children are coming in, and they leave their homes and they come up because they think it's going to be so wonderful. And frankly, our country can't handle it. It is a crisis like we've rarely had, and certainly we've never had on the border. But it's going to get much worse.
Hello and welcome to Fox News at Night. I'm Shannon Bream in Washington. White House correspondent Kevin Corke is tracking what both Presidents Trump and Biden are saying about the border tonight. Good evening, Kevin.
Evening, Shannon. From the sharp rise in gas prices to encouraging all Americans, frankly, to take that COVID-19 vaccine if you can, President Trump obviously had plenty to say tonight about the state of the country and most notably, perhaps, about the job that Joe Biden is doing. And while he said he wasn't quite sure if or when he might announce another run for perhaps office in the future, he certainly didn't have any shyness about talking about the things that he is seeing happening on the border with respect to illegal crossings.
They're coming in from everywhere. They're dropping them off and they're pouring into our country. It's a disgrace.
Former President Trump holding nothing back in his assessment of the devastating crisis on the southern border, with illegal migration exploding on Mr. Biden's watch. And he says, because of his lax policies.
Well, my policies were working better than they've ever seen on the southern border. The wall is almost complete. They should finish it, but they're destroying our country.
The pointed comments, part of a wide-ranging conversation with Maria Bartiromo on Fox News Primetime, and coming amid reports that there are now upwards of 13,000 illegal migrant minors in U.S. custody along the border, a problem that the former president says his successor is responsible for. But Biden is pushing back on the idea that he's somehow thrown down a welcome mat for illegal migration.
The idea that Joe Biden said come, because I heard the other day that they're coming because they know I'm a nice guy and I won't do what Trump did.
They're saying this.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. They're not.
Do you have to say quite clearly, don't come?
Yes, I can say quite clearly, don't come.
A message of don't come, but policies, say critics, that won't turn them away if they do, with thousands of migrants now being released into the interior of the country with no family-matched DNA tests, no COVID-19 tests, and no guarantees they'll show up for court dates once processed, in sharp contrast to his predecessors' border wall and remain in Mexico policies. The former president also took a bit of a victory lap for his administration's Operation Warp Speed, which delivered multiple vaccines in record time. And he encouraged all Americans to get the shot as soon as possible.
We got the vaccine done in 9 months instead of 5 years. And fortunately,
yes,
that's not only going to save our country, it's going to save the world. I would recommend it, and I would recommend it to a lot of people that don't want to get it.